The new channel. See the new. The new channel. See the new. The views, opinions, and insights expressed in the following show are those of the hosts, producers, guests, and viewers. They do not necessarily reflect the position of the channel. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome to the new channel, here to help you see the new you, live streaming from Tennessee. This is Dr. Mike Chu, and on behalf of my co-host, Bert De in Texas, this is iBusiness. Well, good morning, Philippines. I know it's good morning there in the Philippines, and good evening here in the States. It's 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time here, and I am assuming it's 9:30 in the morning there in the Philippines. So good morning, Pilipinas. How is everyone there? But first of all, I would like to say hi and hello to those people who are watching live in our show. Again, thank you very much. I see VJ Patel. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate you. If you are watching live, please comment live, because we want to know if you're watching live. And if you're watching on the replay, obviously, please comment replay, because we want to know if we are really helping you. In this show, in iBusiness, we call it iBusiness because we help you how to improve your influence and impact in your industry. And that way you could be better, not only better for yourself, better for your business, better for your industry, and better for your community. And today, obviously, we don't have Bert today. He's still under the weather, but he's getting better. He told me he's getting better. He's just under the weather there in Texas, because everything is big in Texas, right? So he's there getting better in his signs and symptoms there. Well, anyway, today we have a very special guest. We have a very special guest. Let me pull up my thing here. Hold on. Let me find. I got lost. I lost his stuff here. Anyway, he is actually my speaker coach. He's actually my speaker coach, and he is the one who is actually helping me how to improve my influence and impact in my industry. And before I started my business, I reached out to different people to help me how to improve my influence and impact. So I reached out to people who have actually written their books, and that's the reason why I have books. And then I reached out to people who started their own business, like Bert. He helped me how to improve my business. And I reached out to people who actually helped me find patient. So I have a coach who's actually teaching me how to find patient. And of course, in order for me to be a better speaker, I have to find a coach or a mentor how to be a better speaker. So I've found this guy here. His name is Odell Bizzell. And now he's teaching me how to be a better speaker, find speaking gigs, find the community to serve. So without further ado, I just would like to introduce. His name is Odell Bizzell. He helps busy professionals become better marketers so they can serve more clients and make more money. We want that. We want that, right? If you are creating a business and you're not making money, it's not a business. It's actually a hobby. So that's what Odell is all for. He wants you to serve more clients and make more money. So Odell says here, Odell has sold thousands of books. Imagine that. I haven't even sold thousands of my books. He has sold thousands of books, conducted hundreds of live presentation, and coached hundreds of people all over the world, guys. You got to listen to this guy because when I saw his website, it's so impressive. When I saw his presentation, it's just life changing. You always want to follow those people who are actually going to push you and believe in you and actually push you to your next level. So I'm going to keep reading his bio here. He is the author of 8 books. Imagine that. 8 books, not just one, not just 2, not just 3. Of course, more than 7, 8 books. Husband to one wife. We always want to have one wife. And father of 3 kids. Listening to Odell will help you become a better marketer so you can serve more of your ideal clients and leave a lasting impact. That's the word again. There's that word again called impact. Because that's the reason why we call it iBusiness. We want you to improve your influence and impact in your industry by following again that mentor method. What's that mentor method again? MENTOR. Meet a need, educate, network, team, one-on-one. Repeat it again and again. And I always preach this. You need to be a mentor in your specific industry. And this is what This is what Odell is going to teach us today. So without further ado, I'm going to bring in our guest for tonight, Odell Bizzell, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey,
All
Dr.
right. There you go, Odell. Thank you very much, first of all, for coming over, brother. Thank you. I know it's 9:30 Central Time there. Appreciate you for coming over. I know you're a very busy man, but thank you for coming and joining us here tonight. So, well, before we keep going, tell us where you're from and what do you really do? So,
yeah, thanks again for the introduction. I am from North Carolina, which is in the United States, and I'm a professional speaker, professional marketing coach, and just excited to be here, excited to be a part of everything that you all are doing at iBusiness, and hopefully we can talk about some cool stuff that will help your listeners.
there you go. There you go. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. But before I keep asking you, I just want to give a special shout out to Miss Susan De Jesus. Thank you very much for watching. Appreciate you. She's watching from Houston, Texas. Again, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. So, Odell, why did you become a professional speaker? Why become a professional speaker? What is your background and why that? Why that?
Well, I guess it started when I was a kid. I talked a lot. I was one of those kids that got in a little bit of trouble for talking. And my dad always said, you talk too much. You need to learn how to, use your voice for good and not to annoy people. And so I went to university in North Carolina and majored in communication. And I learned about a lot of different things. I wanted to originally be on the news. I wanted to be a sportscaster. But once I started getting along in my degree path, I found that that's not what I wanted to do. And my public speaking professor told me when I graduated, he said, you should try to be a professional speaker. You were a great public speaking student, so you should try it out. And he told me that right after graduation, and I asked him a bunch of questions, and we exchanged a lot of emails. He led me to the international organization Toastmasters, and I found out, Dr. Mike, that there was a whole industry of people that made money, that impacted lives through their words. And so I just got really into that world, and it was something that I loved. I wanted to speak and write to inspire people. And from the time I was 22 until now, that's what I've been doing, just making a living, making a life out of that.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. That is such an amazing adventure there. But before I keep on asking you, Odell, good morning to Saito. Thank you very much for watching from Paco, Manila. Oh gosh, we got people there in Manila. Thank you very much for watching Paco Manila. Well, Odell, so you decided to become a professional speaker. Did you have a mentor or somebody? You mentioned somebody that taught you how to do this. Is there a program that you follow, or could you tell us the your steps, how you started? I know it's really hard, but I know you're teaching me how to do it. But could you just share some tips on how you really started it? And is there any specific niche that we want to serve, or we just can just go ahead and speak about anything? I mean, what's your first tip for us how to start a speaking business?
Well, yeah, to your point, mentors, Dr. Mike, I had my public speaking professor. He was kind of the person that just pushed me along the path, like, hey, you should go do this. And then I had what I call a root mentor, somebody that just poured empowerment in me that said, you can do anything. The first, I guess, course that I bought was by a speaker. His name is Victor Antonio, and he talked about speaking in the college market. And that was the first thing I ever purchased. It was $250, 250 US dollars, and it was a lot of money for me at the time. But he taught me like how to start marketing, and I didn't know what that meant at first. And so along the way, I just looked at what other speakers were doing and tried to mimic them. But it wasn't until I actually paid a coach that I started to understand the difference between the art of speaking and the business of speaking. And so that is what, I kind of, with my business, I started to realize that the speaking business is the part that I needed to learn the most. And so that's what I started learning. I started learning about marketing. I started reading a ton of books about marketing, studying marketing. And I found out that in the college space specifically, it was a great niche for me because there were younger students, there were younger people rather, that I could speak to. And whenever you're speaking to an audience, this is a tip, whenever you're speaking to an audience, you always at least want to be a chapter or so ahead of them in the book of life or in some form or fashion. And so I figured, well, hey, since I'm a young guy, I graduated from college, I can tell these college students about, life because they haven't been here yet. And then that's something that I started doing all the more so. And I started learning about not just the niche of the college market, but what I could teach them. And so when you get into the speaking business, you got to look at your audience, look at your message to the audience and your topic within that message, and then start reaching out with a lot of helpful content. And that's kind of how my progression through the speaking business went.
Oh wow. Oh wow. There are so much nuggets in that answer there. Thank you very much, Odell. But before I break down those nuggets, I want to give a shout out to Miss Cho. Thank you very much, Miss Lita Cho Esplana, for watching. She is watching in Tarlac. Thank you very much for continually supporting us in our channel. So appreciate you. Let's go back to what Odell said. There are two types of things that you need to go in: the art of speaking and the business of speaking. You can be the best speaker in the world. If you don't know how to do the business to go in and market yourself, you'll have a hard time. And then if you can have the business, you can have the business acumen, the business of speaking, but if you don't know the art of speaking, guess what? It's going to have a hard time. You won't get another contract from your speaking. So you need to learn how to balance it out, and that's what Odell is going to teach us today. And another thing, he said about finding that audience, meet a need, and your message. What is your message? You can find your audience, meet a need, and what is your message? Your message could be inside your podcast. It could be in your book. He's got 8 books, ladies and gentlemen. I only have 5. And then the topic. What's the topic? What's that topic you're going to be serving in that specific audience? Well, and then last is the content. Content is king. Content is king, ladies and gentlemen. You can be speaking again and again. If you don't have that content, then you're not going to get that repeat customers. So, Odell, I guess my next question is, how do you break into that specific niche? I mean, is there any technique? Do I just call the schools or email them, or is there anything that that we need to start doing, or yeah, could you share us how you do that specifically?
Well, yeah, absolutely. And thanks for that question. I think the big thing, Dr. Mike, is, and I love, the mentor acronym, meeting a need. And inside of that is solving or addressing a particular problem. And so if you want to get into the speaking business, or speaking is something that you want to do, the first thing you've got to do is not look at it strictly from a performance base. A lot of speakers, when they come in, I'm good at speaking. I can speak well. I can use words well. I'm funny, or whatever it is. And they think as soon as they jump up on a platform that people are just going to be lining up to hire them. Or they think if I send out a bunch of emails, or if I make a bunch of calls, people are going to be, eventually they're going to see my stuff and they're going to love it. And the first thing that I like to, let people know that I coach is, let's figure out what specific problem that your particular audience always looks to solve anyway. A lot of times we try to be innovative. We try to be, I got this new thing that I'm trying to, try out, and I think it's going to be amazing and all that. And it probably will be, but we have to find out what problems are already what problems are people already paying to solve right now, and what can my voice do to help solve that problem. So for example, if we're looking at, if you want to break into colleges or universities or any group or association, I teach specifically, and I start with the college market. So as students are coming into college, they want to transition well into college. So they want new students to transition into college. That's always going to be an issue, even though right now, as of this, recording, we're going through a global pandemic. Schools are still going to want to help their students transition well into college. There's a problem. What's your solution? How are you uniquely qualified to solve that problem? And so that's another thing that you want to do. How are you uniquely qualified to solve that problem? And with individuals like you, Dr. Mike, that are doctors, that are medical doctors, or that, are those individuals, you already have a perceived solution, because you're an expert, because you're a professional. So all you have to do is fit that solution, that perceived solution. Oh, you're a doctor, so you know about health stuff. Oh, you're a doctor, so you can help our bodies get better. Guess what? There's a pandemic. How do we help our bodies stay healthy throughout this? And so if you can tweak it to help a problem, to help solve a problem, then that's what you lead with. You don't lead with, hey, I'm a speaker, can you hire me? You lead with, hey, you have a problem. Here's a solution. Do you like my solution? Then let's talk about working together. So that's what I would say. The first thing is, make sure you find that problem that they're already looking for a solution for, and then you use your message to fill that need.
Oh gosh, that is so powerful, ladies and gentlemen. Again, if you are watching live, please comment live. If you're watching on the replay, please comment replay. I see Catherine Kate Dalaga Garcia. Good morning, Kate. She said, hello, ang aga. It only means it's early, because it's early there in the Philippines at 9:30 in the morning there in the Philippines. Don't worry, Catherine. It's also late. It's late here in the States. So thank you very much for watching. We appreciate you. But one thing that really stood up on what Odell mentioned, he talked about, it's not about just strictly your performance as a speaker. It's also the business, and also finding that problem. Guess what? In our situation right now, ladies and gentlemen, having this pandemic, there's so much problem now in these days. So much problem. Guess what? If you're a solution finder, you will find a topic that you can put in your concept, your lecture, or your speaking topic in those specific industries. So in my case, like what Odell always tells me, Michael, you can do anything that is addressing dementia and Alzheimer's. I guess, yeah, why not? So that's what I do now. I run an Alzheimer's disease and dementia care seminar once a month. It's a paid CEU class that I teach. And every month I just do it. And I go to different groups, different associations, different assisted living nursing homes, and I talk and speak about Alzheimer's and dementia. And there's a CEU course, and then bam, it's a repeat and recurring revenue for me. So thank you for pointing that out, Odell. Uh, I guess my next question, Odell, uh, how much does a speaker earn in the college industry? I know every person is different. For me, who is actually new, and of course for you, you're a professional speaker, obviously a college speaker. They pay you top dollars. But for us, for a person who's just starting in, I mean, I know how to speak, I know how to do this. How much can I expect to be paid per lecture? And you actually laughed at me when I told you how much I get paid, because ladies and gentlemen, I was kind of bragging at Odell, they pay me this X amount, they pay me $5,000. And Odell said, well, they also pay me $5,000, but I only talk 5 minutes. I'm talking the whole day. So just imagine that. Let's just compute that. 8 hours. So $5,000 divided by 8 hours, that's 625 per hour. Odell speaks for 5-10 minutes. He gets paid 5,000. Imagine that. So for a new speaker like me, man, how much can I expect? And what's a good range? So we would know. Just so we know if people who wants to start their own small speaking business.
Yeah, for sure. And that it depends. It's a wide range. And what I tell a lot of new speakers is, if you put in your time, the money it'll just rise. But if you're solving a high level problem for depending on the size of the institution, the size of the individuals that you're serving, then you can get paid, a wide range. And it also depends, Dr. Mike, on where we are. Right now, since all of my stuff is virtual now, my fees have gone down. So it kind of depends. But I would say for new speakers, if you're going into the college market, if you have all the right assets, meaning you have a good looking website, you have good content. You mentioned content is king. You've got great content. You are positioned as a person that, yes, we want that person to solve this problem. You can start out charging about $1,500 for an hour speech, up to $2,500 for an hour speech starting off. And even in the virtual landscape that we have now, that we're probably going to have, going forward for a little while, that's still a pretty good price range, depending on, again, the problem that you're solving. So if you're solving a problem for the leaders at a particular organization or university, you're going to get paid a little more. If it's just for the students or staff that is entry level, you're not going to get paid as much. But $1,500 US dollars to $2,500 US dollars for an hour is around the range that new speakers start with.
Excellent. I'm writing everything down here, ladies and gentlemen. If you guys are not writing everything down here, you're missing a lot, because Odell teaches this in his course, and I just wanted to learn more from him. So I just want to recap what he said. Depending on the problem you are solving, obviously Odell's problem solving skills in college market is just so good. I cannot even penetrate that market there. And just like in the medical field, guess what? When you go talk to a surgeon, when you talk to a brain surgeon, their services is much more expensive than just a regular stitching of that wound that you have, right? So that's a big problem there when you're operating a brain, right? Guess what? Same thing when operating with the heart. That's a very expensive procedure. But guess what? If they're just, like what I said earlier, if they're just stitching a small wound or just putting a Band-Aid on it, guess what? The pay is the rate of that procedure is lower. And same thing when speaking, like what Odell said, same thing with speaking. The bigger problem that you're solving, the bigger rate that you can command. So thank you very much for pointing that out, Odell. But before I keep going, thank you very much, Shirley, for watching. Very informative. Thank you for sharing. Hope to watch and more of this. God bless you too, Shirley. Appreciate you. Just keep watching, and you can share this again. If you can share this in your page, that we would really appreciate that. Odell, let me put you back again. Oh, you mentioned about we talked about pay. You talked about targeting your audience. How do we reach out to them? Is there an ethical way to reach? Because in the medical field, it's different. We just cannot go out there and market, hey, come in here and I'm your therapist, I'm your doctor. Even with the billboards, we need to follow certain rules. So is there any rule in finding speaking gigs in the college industry, whether here in the States or in any country? Is there a technique or stuff that you do?
Yeah, I think it has to depend on the decision maker, how they consume or receive their information. So a lot of people, especially now, are going to receive or consume their information via email and their social media platform of choice. Those are going to be the main ways. And then the other ways are going to be through a consumer type of report or magazine or website or something like that. So if there's an association, if there is an organization that professionals kind of huddle at and they get their information from, then they're going to be looking for information that way. And so what I tell speakers is, start with email because it's free, and people primarily it's free to send an email, but people are going to look at their email. And what you have to do ethically is not just spam and say, hey, hire me to speak, hire me to speak, hire me to speak, but rather, again, you say, hey, is there a problem that you have? And one thing that I encourage my speaking clients to do is to provide what I call consumer awareness guides. So if I am a higher ed professional looking, for a speaker, or if I'm a higher ed professional not looking for a speaker, if I'm just there and I want to serve my students, what am I going to be looking for? Would I open an email that says hire speakers in the subject line, or would I open up an email that says 12 ways how to help your students cope with COVID, right? So that's going to be something that I would suggest you want to send out a consumer awareness guide, that allows you to position yourself as the problem solver, and then just send that email and say, hey, does it work? Was this helpful? If this was helpful, send it out. And you can link to a PDF on your website. You can link to a blog post or whatever, but that's something that I would suggest doing. Send it out via email or via social media, depending on, LinkedIn. That's something that a lot of professionals peruse. Also, you can do your email, or you can try to find an industry specific website or publication that a lot of people look at information for. But position yourself as a problem solver through providing consumer awareness guides. 12 things you should look at before you hire a speaker. 5 reasons why you should have a medical doctor speak to your students. Whatever, have something like that to where it's more like, oh, this might be interesting versus, no, I don't want that. Because your job as a marketer is to pique curiosity. That's the big thing. If I can get you curious, then I can get you in my world. If I can get you in my world, then I can make you fall in love with me.
All right. Speaking of falling in love with Odell, we will be back after all this segments here. All right, we are back from that quick commercial break. Thank you very much again for watching. Again, if you're watching live, please comment live. If you're watching on the replay, please comment replay. Before I keep going, I just would like to give a special shout out to Jen A. Rosario. Hello, everyone. She said, again, thank you very much for watching. Appreciate you. But before I keep going, there's a special announcement. Says here, could you show that up? There you go. All right. So before we keep going, I would just like to remind you guys the big picture every Mondays to Fridays. This is 7 p.m. That is the Philippine time with Lloyd Luna. Obviously, this is our awesome Lloyd Luna. And of course, the HR hotline by Jesse Rebustillos every Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. That's 12 noon. That's obviously still in the Philippines. And then, of course, the Fourth Project by Bob Quilapio every Wednesdays and Saturdays. This is 7 p.m. I'm not just sure what time zone he's at. I believe he is in Dubai. And then, of course, Miss Carmine Ortega U-Turn, wherein she teaches you to go left, to go right, or make a U-turn in your life every Mondays and Thursdays, 10:30 in the morning. That's Philippine time. And then the Home Buyer by Mr. Dante Salamat, Mondays and Thursdays at 4 p.m. And of course, Mr. Juan Lu, the Puppet Stories. Gosh, man, who doesn't want to watch that? It's so entertaining. Mr. Juan Lu every Tuesdays and Fridays at 5 p.m. And of course, the new one, the TNC original, the Marketplace. You guys, you got to watch this. You got to see this Marketplace because we got to support our local businesses, right? Every Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays at 9:30 p.m. Again, thank you very much for supporting the new channel where we actually help you see the new you, because there is a new you in every situation that we have. All right. Well, again, I want to bring back our special guest, Odell Bizzell. That name is just sounds fancy, ladies and gentlemen. If you think his name is just fancy, it's just like a, what do you call this? Like a rapper's name or like a celebrity. Is this really your or is this a showbiz name, Odell? I mean, could I haven't asked you that. Is this really your first name and last name, or just your show business
my name? I was named after my late grandfather. So, yes, it is a real name.
Really? I mean, oh gosh, it's like a fancy name, right, ladies and gentlemen? He mentioned about having a good-looking website. I thought you have to be good-looking to be a speaker, so you don't have to be good-looking, ladies and gentlemen. You have to have a good-looking website. So, so speaking of website, before we keep going, Odell, on your website, I was looking at it. I saw some pictures of you speaking with in a very big audience. What if I'm starting up? I'm starting up. I haven't spoken to a big audience yet. What do you recommend? Do I need to copy and paste myself in the Photoshop or something like that? What do you recommend me doing if I want to have a good looking website?
Yeah, that's a great question. And that's a challenge that a lot of new speakers have, Dr. Mike. And the best thing that I would say is you got to understand the purpose of your website and the purpose of, all the online assets. It is to have the client picture you in the position to solve their problem with your voice in front of their audience. So there are a couple of creative things that you could do. First, I would suggest that you get professional pictures done. And then you can have different crowd shots in your pictures or on your website without necessarily you being in front. It provides the illusion of you doing it. Now, that's not tricking people. You're not saying that, hey, look at me in front of this crowd. For example, this is a green screen, right? So this is not an actual office with my logo in the background. It's not, but it looks better than a green screen. And so if you are a speaker just starting, why not have a professional headshot of you smiling, doing all the, or looking silly or whatever your thing is, or with your arms folded. And then maybe you have a graphic designer, or even you can do it and just have a crowd in the background, to whereas it's not showing you speaking. So you're not trying to trick anybody. It's just you're showing the illusion of, hey, this is me speaking, or in a small kind of setup to whereas, hey, I do smaller trainings and workshops. You just want your potential client to picture you in the position to get paid. So if you're going after the bigger keynotes, for me personally, especially when, everything was open up, I did a lot of big crowds, 2,000 people, 4,000 people in an audience. So when they go to my website, I want them to see me in front of big people. Well, now guess what? Nobody's in front of big crowds, right? Mm-hmm. So right now, if you want to, you could even take, for those of you watching, if you do a live stream on your social media or whatever, you can take a screenshot of you doing that with a microphone like I have, and boom, you're there. So just be creative until you get all those shots with people. Utilize screenshots, utilize a lot of different things to make your website clean. But you remember, you want your website to convert into people calling you and booking you. So you want them to picture you in the position to get paid.
No, wow, that is very powerful there, ladies and gentlemen. You want them to picture you. Is that right? They want them to picture you so you can get paid. That's the key there. You can get paid because how can you attract that audience if they are not seeing you? Just like me in when I'm serving my Alzheimer's and dementia group, I have a small picture. It's a small group that I have that I conduct, and I in the actual seminar that I do, I just take a screenshot too in our webinar and like this. And then I share it, and they'll be like, "Oh, I want to join Dr. Mike Chu as a certification course." And then, bam, you want them to be in that group. You want them to be FOMOing, FOMO, fear of missing out. Oh, I want me to be there too. So you want that. Another thing that what you call this that Odell said, the word online assets, ladies and gentlemen. So what are the different online assets that you recommend, Odell? I know you have your website, you have your books. How do you, by the way, leverage your book? Do you leverage that book? Is it like a marketing tool for you? Could you tell us how you do that for your business?
Absolutely. So to the question about online assets, you want to have a website. You want to have some kind of giveaway, like something that you give to people that hopefully your ideal client that you give that solves a problem. So if you all are listening or watching, if you go to impactspeakingtips.com, right there on the website, it's an image, it's boom, you click on it and you automatically get a gift. If you're looking to start a speaking business, boom, you get it right away. If you go to my speaking website right now, the giveaway is how to increase attendance, at events. Oh, I'm interested in that because I'm planning an event. And so they'll go there, they'll put in their thing. So they'll put in their information and they'll get the thing. So you have your website, you have your giveaway, then you have a video. Whenever you're speaking or want to speak, video is king. Video is something that that will sell you. So those are the three online assets that I suggest: your website, your giveaway on your website, and then video of you. As it relates to the book, a book is, I would say, properly leveraged, is the greatest tool that a speaker can use to market themselves. Not just a speaker, but if we have doctors watching this or people in the medical field, a book is like a business card on steroids and superhero juice. Like it is a big deal because people don't throw away books. They just don't. Anywhere in the world, in human history, the wisdom of the world is found in books. The voice of God, depending on the religion that you subscribe to, the voice of God is in books. So nobody's going to throw away a book. And so if you position yourself as an author, I read a statistic yesterday that says only 3% of people that want to write a book actually write a book. So if you write a book on a topic, then you're automatically going to be like, wow, you wrote the book on it. And the reason why I have so many books, Dr. Mike, is because they're uniquely in different niches of the college market. So I have a financial literacy book for teenagers. I have a student success book. So when students get to college, this is what you should do. I have a grit and motivational book for those that are about to get out of college. I have another book that's related to students creating their own story once they get out of college. I have different books. I have a diversity book for students that want to better understand diversity. So I wrote all these different books based on different topics that I know will pay for my solution. And then I just position myself in different times of the year. Hey, here's a book. Check this book out. So if you're listening to this, if you're watching this live, if you have not written a book, you should. I mean, you definitely should. If you want to get into speaking and it's something that you want to do long term, but more specifically, you should write a book that addresses and solves a problem for the individuals that are going to be booking you or the individuals that you're going to be speaking in front of.
That is such an amazing tip there, ladies and gentlemen. That is what we want to hear in this iBusiness. How you can improve your influence and impact. You want to improve your influence and impact by being the authority. That's what Odell is doing. He's becoming the authority in his specific niche. So how do you become an authority? You become an author by the word itself. And last week we talked about that too, or last Tuesday we talked about that too. You know, he mentioned about does the people throw, I mean, this is my daughter's book and this is my business card. What if I give this to you? Hey, I go to a patient. Hey, here's my business card. The patient will just throw this away. They're just going to throw this away. Yeah, I got his number. I'll put it in my phone. I'll throw it away. But this book, I have this is my daughter's book, but she's got a book. My little daughter, my 10-year-old daughter wrote this book. If she can write it, ladies and gentlemen, it's not a thick book. And this is seven, what you call this, 7 series. You know, first is the series, and then, you know, she's got 7, whatever you call that, series, 7 books about this. And if she can do it, we can do it too as professionals. If you want to be a professional speaker, you want to project a professionalism. How do you become professional? Guess what? You write a book. And I like what Odell said. It's not just one book. He has multiple books for different specialties, different situation. And that's what I have too. I have that misunderstanding dementia. This all because of Odell, him coaching me, okay? I have that misunderstanding dementia book. That same book became a course because it's already written. I made it as a PowerPoint. Guess what? That's a course already. Misunderstanding dementia course. And the other book is called 365 Daily Tips for Dementia Caregivers. Basically, if the caregiver wants 365 daily tips, they can buy that book. Those tips, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching, those tips that's inside that book is actually our content in our website. It's a daily tip, 365 daily tips. Guess what? It's 365 pages. The other book that I have, it's called the Caregiver Freedom Journal. Most of the time, the caregivers that I educate, they have problems in journaling, you know, their patients' situations. So I said, well, let me create a journal about Caregiver Freedom Journal. And just last night, my administrative assistant, her name is Cheryl. Shout out to Cheryl. She is my admin assistant. She said, Michael, I want to give out some of your books about dementia. But lately, I haven't seen a lot of dementia patients. All we're seeing is people who are falling at home. And I said, well, let me write a quick book about how to prevent falls in your senior years. So I wrote a quick blurb about book, you know, blah, 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 about how to prevent falls, you know, talk about blood pressure issues, talk about this, and that. Well, guess what? We're going to publish it. And then that's the book that we're going to give out in our community here. So if you don't have a book right now, like what Odell said, It's like business card in steroids, business card in as a superhero. So you need to write a book, ladies and gentlemen. Before we go in a quick gap, I want to call back Odell again. Odell, could you put down or share where we can find you, where we can reach you out, or whatever, your email or your website, and we're gonna post it up here in our channel.
Absolutely. The best place to find me is impactspeakingtips.com, where I help busy professionals learn how to be better marketers with your voice and with your words. So if you go to impactspeakingtips.com, you click the image on the front of the website, then you'll go to a page where you can put in your name and your email, and you'll get a free download, and you'll get a free audio book. So if it's not something that you want to read, something you can listen to, where I'm talking about some of the stuff that we've been talking about, but it goes a lot deeper, and you get that for free. So that's something that I've sold in the past for $47, but now it's just something that we give away for free in hopes that it helps you with starting your speaking business.
Odell, again, thank you very much for coming over. I really appreciate you. We're going to go on a quick break. Thank you, Odell, and we will see you after this quick gap. All right, we are back from that quick gap. But again, thank you very much again for watching. I just would like to give a shout out on Bob Kilapio there, and I just like what he put up there. Employment is a choice, and so is entrepreneurship, ladies and gentlemen. And I love that. It's just so amazing. We have a choice, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to start your own business, if you want to start your own entrepreneurship adventure, you got a choice, ladies and gentlemen. There's nothing wrong being an employee. It's nice to become an employee, but if you become your own boss, if you become your own leader in your community, guess what? You change not only yourself, you're changing your community. You're providing employment to other people, and that's what we want you to develop here in iBusiness, so you could improve not only yourself, you can improve your community, you can change other people too. All right. So before I keep going, again, thank you very much, Jen, for watching. Thank you for sharing. It's very, very informative. But before we close, I just would like to remind you guys that you can access the webinar called Improve Your Influence and Impact in our website, drmikechua.com/mentor drmikechua.com/mentor. You can check it out. It's right there. And that way you can learn more about how to improve your influence and impact in your industry by following the mentor method. And that's what Odell is teaching. That's what Odell is teaching in his impact speaking tips. He's actually, letter M, meeting a need. He's met a need in that specific market, in the college market, wherein he speaks talks about the different problem and the solution to that specific market. And what's the next letter is letter E. Is he educates them. How does he educate that market? He educates them by having his book. Remember, he talked about his book. He educates them by creating a video, by creating a webinar, by creating a course out of it, and he's speaking to those specific audience. So that's this letter E, is educating. Guess what? The letter N is networking. He's networking with those different college college admission people, college professors. He actually has an association that he actually leads. I forgot the name of his association that he leads, but he would go to those associations and he would present himself. That's what I actually do too. I network with different associations, and I would speak and talk in those specific associations, because that's letter N, networking. And letter T, you need to find a team of people that will push you and believe you, and that way you can be the best that you can be. Because letter T is team, right? Letter T. Odell, guess what? He has a team of virtual assistants that's actually helping him how to find speaking gigs, how to find the lectures, how to find different schools. And in his class, Impact Speaking Tips, that's where I got my speaking stuff. He would give you access to those different emails on how to create your own email sequences. So team of people. And letter O, one-on-one. He will teach you how to provide the one-on-one coaching. And that's the reason why I reached out to him. He's my personal coach. He teaches me how to develop and learn the art of speaking and also the business of speaking. The art of speaking and the business of speaking, because there's, like what he said, there is a big difference between the art of speaking and in the business of speaking. And our leader, Lloyd Luna, knows that. He's a great speaker and at the same time a great business guy when it comes to the speaking industry. And last but not the least is letter R, the repeat or recurring revenue. You need to keep repeating that cycle there. You need to have a repeat and recurring revenue so you can get money out of it. Like what I always say, if you're not making money out of this business, like Odell, business of speaking, it's not a business, it's actually a hobby. So you need to make money out of it. Again, thank you very much for watching again for in our show. I appreciate you, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully Bert is going to be back next week. He said he's on his in getting better and stronger day by day. And Bert, if you're watching, please come back. I miss you. I miss talking to you. Are you like this? Hello, my name is Bert. I miss you, Bert, doing that. But again, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. But before I let you go, always remember the word fast. F-A-S-T. You want to always take action fast. F-A-S-T. Letter F. You got to find friends that will push you to your next level, because you are the average of the 5 people you hang out with. Because Today I hanged out with my coach. Guess what? I feel like I want to be a speaker in different colleges. Well, I speak in the college here. You want to find friends that will push you to your next letter. Letter F, right? Letter F. Another F. Facebook. Like us in our Facebook. The more subscription, the better. Like us in our subscribe in our YouTube channel, because the more subscription, the better, right? And the next letter is letter A. Letter A. You gotta learn how to take action, guys. All this stuff that we're doing is this is a free interview with my coaches and the people in the business industry. It's all free. This show is free. It doesn't do me good. It doesn't do you good, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't take action on it. Imperfect action beats perfect in action. And that's the problem nowadays. We try to analyze everything. We're analyzing, we want to make everything perfect. But in fact, the key here is just taking one step at a time. Taking one step at a time. The books that I've published, the Misunderstanding Dementia, I think it's in 4th edition. I gave a copy to one of my patients, and she gave it back to me, and he said, Michael, there is so much grammatical error in your book. I want to edit it again. Guess what? I paid somebody to edit that book. I paid somebody to edit that book, and there's still wrong stuff there. It's still not perfect. Imagine, English is not my first language. And I wrote a book, and there's some errors there, grammatical errors, and it doesn't have to be perfect, ladies and gentlemen. The key here is you're taking action. Imperfect action beats perfect in action. Stop analyzing. A lot of us here, whether you're watching here in the States, watching there in the Philippines or in Asia, we want to analyze everything. Stop the analysis paralysis and just take action. Just take action. It doesn't have to be perfect. And the next letter is letter S. Letter S. Keep shooting for the moon, because if you miss it, you're going to be landing with the stars. I kept shooting for the moon. Guess what? Who am I landing right now? I'm landing with Odell Bizzell. I'm landing with Odell Bizzell. So keep shooting for the moon. Another letter S is share and subscribe. Share and subscribe our show, our iBusiness, the new channel, because the more shares, the better. Why? It may not be applicable to you, but it could be applicable to somebody else, like this speaking business. You might not want to be a speaker, but guess what? You share it to somebody who you think knows already the art of speaking. And guess what? If they want to learn the business of speaking, they could reach out to Odell, and it could be applicable to them, right? And last but not the least, letter T, ladies and gentlemen, letter T is teach it. Why? Because when you hear it, you forget. When you see it, you remember. But when you're actually teaching it, that's what Odell is doing. He's teaching it. He's teaching people how to be a better speaker. He's teaching people how to be a better find speaking gigs. Guess what? He understands it more. And same thing with me. When I'm teaching people about Alzheimer's and dementia, I understand it more. When I'm teaching people about being a mentor, I understand it more. I'm like, oh gosh, I need to be a better mentor. I need to be a better business owner. I need to be a better person. All right. So you have to teach it. You have to keep repeating it again and again. Why? Because it's very important that you have to repeat it. Why? Because repetition is the mother of learning. It is the father of action, and then the architect of results. The more you repeat it, the more you'll remember it. All right. Again, thank you very much. Appreciate you. We will see you next Tuesdays. See you next Tuesday and Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time and 9:30 a.m. there in the Philippines. Again, thank you. I'll see you around. God bless you. Bye-bye.